Every woman has a man she never fully forgets. Not always because he was the kindest or the most romantic, but because something about him stayed in her mind long after he was gone. Maybe it was the way he carried himself, the calm in his voice, or the feeling that he was never trying too hard. He didn't chase her the way most men did. Instead, he made her curious. He didn't beg for her attention. Somehow, he naturally held it. He wasn't the loudest person in the room, and he didn't talk constantly, but when he did speak, people listened, and she listened even more closely. What made him different was the emotional impact he created. There was attraction, a little mystery, a sense of respect, and sometimes even a small hint of uncertainty. That mixture creates memories that stay for a very long time. Think about a man who isn't afraid to say no. Most people spend their time trying to please everyone around them. They agree to things they don't really want, just to avoid conflict or to keep someone from leaving. But this man doesn't do that. When something doesn't feel right to him, he calmly says no. Not aggressively, not with anger, just with quiet confidence. When he says no, it shows he values his own principles more than approval. And surprisingly, that kind of honesty creates respect. It tells her that he has boundaries and that he isn't willing to bend them just to keep someone around. There is also something powerful about the person who knows when to walk away. In many relationships, when tension appears, people panic. They send more messages, try harder, and sometimes beg for attention. They believe chasing harder will fix the situation. But the man she remembers often does the opposite. When the situation becomes full of unnecessary drama or confusion, he quietly steps back. He doesn't make a scene or demand explanations. He simply chooses peace over chaos. And that decision can stay in someone's mind for a long time, because it shows he respects himself enough to protect his own calm. Another thing that makes someone stand out is not constantly competing for attention. Many men spend their energy trying to prove themselves, trying to be funnier, louder, or more impressive than everyone else. But the man who leaves the strongest impression is often focused on his own path. He has goals, work, passions, and responsibilities that matter deeply to him. Because his life already has direction, he doesn't feel the need to fight for attention. Ironically, that independence often makes people more curious about him. When someone isn't constantly seeking attention, their attention suddenly becomes more valuable. There are also moments when honesty becomes important. In many situations, people stay silent just to avoid conflict. If someone they care about makes a mistake, they ignore it to keep things comfortable. But the unforgettable man doesn't hide from the truth. If something is wrong, he speaks about it calmly and respectfully. He doesn't insult or raise his voice. He simply explains what he sees and how he feels. This kind of honesty can be uncomfortable at times, but it also shows strength and maturity. It shows that he values truth more than temporary comfort. Self-control is another quality that leaves a deep impression. Attraction can be powerful, and many people lose their discipline when emotions are involved. They rush, they become overly eager, and they allow their desires to guide every action. But the man who stands out is the one who remains balanced even when he feels strong attraction. He doesn't allow emotions to control his behavior. Instead, he keeps his composure and moves slowly, thoughtfully. That level of control shows emotional strength, and people naturally respect it. Respect itself is also something he doesn't give away too easily. Many men offer endless admiration the moment they see someone attractive. Compliments flow constantly, attention becomes unlimited, and suddenly the value of that respect disappears. But the man who remains memorable believes that respect grows through actions. Loyalty, honesty, effort, and consistency are the things that earn it. Because his respect is meaningful, it cannot simply be handed out to anyone who walks into his life. When you look closely at all of this, a pattern begins to appear. The men who create the strongest memories are not the ones constantly trying to impress others. They are the ones who have already learned to manage themselves. They control their words instead of speaking carelessly. They protect their time instead of giving it away to every distraction. They choose where their attention goes instead of chasing every opportunity for validation. And something interesting happens when a person reaches that level of self-control. The more stable and focused he becomes, the more others start to notice. His calm behavior stands out in a world where many people are reacting emotionally to everything around them. His independence creates curiosity. His discipline creates respect. His silence, at the right moments, carries more weight than endless talking. In the end, the men who leave the deepest impression are not always the ones who fall the hardest or chase the fastest. They are often the ones who remain steady, grounded, and focused on becoming better versions of themselves. Because when someone truly masters their own emotions, actions, and values, they carry a presence that people remember long after the conversation ends. And that quiet strength is something that stays in the mind far longer than loud words or temporary attention ever could.